All right, it's Monday morning. Hope everyone's got a good weekend. Of course, I was working, but that's a good weekend for me. Came back from, like I mentioned before, from a couple of conferences over the last 2 weeks. Chicago first, and then Wheaton. But I gave 2 talks at Wheaton last week, Thursday and Friday, and I wanted to just reflect on what that experience was like, because it's left me thinking a lot. And the main thesis of what I've encountered has been, it's basically, the audience that I've gone to, I was consuming my words there, was a very conservative, theologically conservative clergy, very concerned about where the modern world is going, for all the right reasons, and very cautious about where they go and the steps they take in that world, for the fear of not wanting to follow the mistakes that others have made in their lives, and in their country, and for the church, and all the other problems and dangers that not being cautious enough with, not being careful enough, and slow to adopt enough new things leads you. And so they've imported this mindset into not only being conservative with your theology, but being conservative with your everything else, with everything. How you dress, what you think about everything, and that's all fine. But then this becomes adapted to the question of the media. What do you do with the media? How should you view it? How should you understand adopting it? What should you be adopting? And so what the end result has been in that way of thinking is not adopting it at all, pointing out all the wrong things about media, pointing out all the ways it can be a mistake, pointing out the ways it can destroy lives, which you can. And so if it's bad, the best thing to do is not to use it at all. And once you reach that point of thinking, you've lost. And I don't mean you've lost in some metaphysical way or you've done something immoral, not at all. I mean, not at all. But what I mean by you've lost is you have resigned your ability to become relevant in the culture. And if you have any interest at all in reaching people with your message, that is a conservative message, that you believe is the right message, that you believe has power and importance for people's lives, that's why you believe it and that's why you're hoping to spread it. Well, if you're trying to spread it, you will fail if you're conservative with your media understanding. Because the disproportionate advantage you have by using something that is social media of 2017, or AR of what's going to come in 2020, or VR of what's coming in 2030. Alexa voice, Siri, Snapchat, Instagram, everything that's out today is so disproportionately competent and fast and effective at distributing message. And not only that, but its competitors, which are, email and snail mail and things like that. Not only are they slower or less competent, they are literally incompetent, ineffective, unable to spread the message. And so if you're leaning on that as your vehicle, you will not get your message spread. It's just as simple as that. There's no chance for your message in the modern world. And that's what I mean by you've lost. And it's a huge mistake. But that's the pushback I've been getting a lot. Last week at AWI, July 2017. Really interesting and really illuminating responses. Now, of course, social media has downsides. It's not pure or purely good, because nothing is that, and that's a false dichotomy. Oh, if it's not purely good, therefore it must be purely evil, right? That's what the sort of the assumption is, but that's not the case at all. It's not purely good in any way. It's got its dangers. It's got its downfalls, downsides. It's got things you have to be worried about. Of course it does. But what doesn't? What doesn't have those things? It's just that other things we have already encountered on as a civilization, we know how to diminish the dangers of those things and minimize the fallback and the fallout and the downsides of, driving a car. We have safety driving. With computers, we have all kinds of methods to protect people from doing bad things on computers, right? Back in the day, people used to run around in the streets, and they would be taught how to play safely, all right, on the streets. So we've learned how to adapt and adjust to the dangers of whatever was the new thing happening, and we just haven't yet. And therefore, to call it a worse thing because we don't know how to fix it yet, how to deal with the downsides yet, is a mistake. And it's causing you to be absolutely silent and invisible and irrelevant in the world of 2017, 2018, 2014. And I am intent on not making sure that's not the case for me and anybody else that listens to me. Bye.